All right. Hi, guys. Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations. And I'm going to be putting together a mini flow book. But today was mainly the focus of today is going to be what I'm going to put in my flow book by using what's on hand only. So I've gone through my stash and have collected a whole bunch of stuff. And then I got to thinking, I could take all the scrapbook paper I have and share it. So I would cut an 8.5 by 11 inch piece in half at 5.5. So when it's folded in half, it would be about the size of a card, but it would give a little bit for me to keep and use and a little bit to include in the flow for smaller projects. And I've got some paper that's a 12 by 12, so I was just going to trim it down to the 8.5 by 5.5. So I'll have a bunch of paper in there like this. That's the 8.5 by 5.5 inch pieces. And then when you fold it in half, that's why I said it's going to be a mini flow. It's going to be smaller than magazine size. Because I thought how fun this would be to do up signatures of different papers. Hi, Cricket Maze. Thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see, we kind of do impromptus here, and I do a regular Wednesday evening live where we do a prompt session. Sometimes I have a project. Like one time we did an explosion card together, an explosion box card, which I still need to finish that. I need to make flowers. But we do all kinds of stuff like that. I do not want to stay on too long because Lisa and Beth are going to do their journaling by 5 session tonight. And I don't want to tire you guys out on that because I want everybody to participate on Beth and Lisa's thing. And I think it's still going to be on Lisa's channel. That's Lisa My Eclectic Life. And I think it is 7 p.m. Central. If anybody knows for sure, put it in the chat if you would. So what I'm doing, like I said, is I've gone and I'm pulling out some of the specialty papers that I want to keep some of, but I'm willing to share half of it. And I'm just cutting it in half. So if you go into your stash and you have some unique papers that you still want to use, but you're willing to share, just cut it in half and include just half of it in your flow book. This one's got some fibers in it. Some of this stuff I've had for years, and it's time to either use it up or share. I think I'll share the more orange side of this and keep the more green side because I'm more of the green aptitude. And things like this are just fun to share. Now, this is actually, I've got 2 sheets of it, so I'll include a whole sheet, but I'll go ahead and cut it down in half. See how well it folds, though. See, I got this for $1 when I worked at Joann's. I had to look at the clearance label because they each use a different one, and I've worked at both Joann's and Michael's. This folds, and it will probably make a really nice signature cover, so I could put a bunch of other stuff in there. So that's what I was doing, and I'm just going to start folding these in half, and if I come across something that needs to be cut down still, I'll cut it down. So we're looking at swapping books that are basically 5.5 by, it'll be 5.5 inches tall, 5.5 by 4.25. Okay, so just little books. And I've included things like, what what's that stuff called? Ledger paper and old-timey tracing paper. I've got some acrylic paper. So see, I'll work on a couple signatures and then I'll make some kind of cover out of file folders, which I've cut some file folders down. And this is almost handmade paper there. And on some of them, if I had multiple sheets, I included, oh, did I put both of my sheets of that? This is my sheet here. And do I have another one of that yellow? I think I did. I messed up and grabbed my yellows, but that's okay. I can pull it back out. All right, so I'll include this. 5.5 inches tall by 4 1/4. So it'll be, each piece will be 8.5 folded in half. A2 size. Don't you think that would be a good size to swap? I mean, I think it would mail easy. And I think it would actually fit inside a flat rate, small flat rate box. In fact, I have a small flat rate box. And I was thinking we keep this to USA only, just to hold down on postage. I'm sorry. It's gotten to where I can't afford to mail a lot overseas. The postage has just gotten so crazy. I'm going to include some of this heart paper. No, that was another one. I needed to keep one of them. Somebody's knocking at the door. Let me go see who's at the door and get a box. It might be just the wind pulling on the door. Oh, nope. It's the female feline. Callie came in for a snack. Let me grab my flat rate box. All right, and for anybody that does not know this already, you can go to the USPS website and request the flat rate envelopes and boxes. You can have them delivered to your door for free, you guys. You just have to request what size you want. And they'll just bring the whole package to the door. Now, see, it would go in a flat rate box. And that was my idea, is we could just fill a flat rate box for our partner, because it would be a one-on-one swap only. And I want you guys to focus on using things you already have on hand. So shop your stash. I don't want anybody going out and buying a whole bunch of stuff for this swap. Now, see these, if you've got sheets of these, I would go ahead and cut them apart and just put them in the book, and people could use them as tags. So I'll cut them apart in just a minute. I see I've got all this other paper I have to fold in half. And I'm thinking maybe 3 signatures. This is a sticker paper here with the, whatever this is called, holographic thing. So you could die cut something out of this, and it would already have the stickum on the back. We might use that as our third cover. I've got some vellum, funky vellums in here. So what you do, and this is the part where I'm going to have difficulty showing because I need to make, is it Nikunj? Welcome from India. Hi, Violet. Hi, Holly. Hi, Mark. What are we looking for? How many pages, Becky? I do not have, yes, Brittany. If you are not in my Facebook group, though, I need to get you in there. It just makes managing the swap easier for me if you're a member of the group. I do not have a number of pages in mind. I was just going to go until I don't have materials to fill stuff up, because I shopped my entire stash and there's all kinds of stuff. And I figured this would be the perfect size for someone to use for card making, index cards, ATCs, even little journals. I almost have enough for a fourth one. But what I was going to say is I'm going to have trouble I might have to do binding it together in a separate live, because I need to make a trip to Dollar Tree to get some bands. Because basically what you do is you put a rubber band through, or a hair tie. I will look and see what I can find. If I had rubber bands, I would just use rubber bands. Brittany, if you're not, I'll get you in there, okay? I just don't want the group to get too crazy big, because I would have trouble managing it on my own. So I don't know how many pages I have already, because I just was cutting things apart. This is different kinds of vellum. This has actually got, you can see there, it's got a print to it. And I thought that could be fun. Just fill up these different ones. And because, see, I have quite a stash of different kinds of papers. And I thought it'd be fun to share with other folks that might not have papers like this. And I'm sorry about the construction noise outside. They're doing stuff next door, and I think we're tearing down some more trees or something in the woods on the property adjacent to us. Just a minute, Callie. Your timing stinks, baby girl. But you can see how quickly it grows. And I got it when I worked at Joann's back in the day, because I started working in Joann's in the 90s. I think it was in the 90s. I don't know. It's been a long time. But they used to have it as the individual sheets. And then when it went clearance, when they were getting rid of it, I bought a bunch of it. And like papers like this, they used to have all the time. So I bought some of it. It's got almost like a vinyl bit on it that's in silver on the yellow handmade paper. And I just think it's really fun. I love handmade papers. This one here, I was going to get the other half of it and send it too, because I found out I have sheet after sheet after sheet of that stuff. So there's another piece of that can go. Okay, Kathy, I'll put it up as an event in the group, and y'all will have to just sign up on there. And I'm planning to assign partners for this probably 1st of May. So if you're interested, you need to get signed up before the 1st of May in the group on Facebook. And then on like May 2nd, I'll work up partners and get your partner's name to you. And hopefully by the time you get the partner's name, you will have already constructed it. Constructed it? Oh my gosh. Constructed it. Now I can't even say it because I'm trying to say it. Ugh, but you know what I mean. You will have had it made already. How about that? So that when you get your partner, you can just drop it in the mail and you'll be good to go. I've got to let her out because she's about to tear the door down. Just a minute. Sorry about that. And if you mix the papers up in each little signature, they can have fun looking through and discovering, you know, if they've got duplicates of paper or what. But I think these could be a lot of fun because I've got this. Now mine are not getting folded absolutely perfectly. Sorry. Got a little bit of indigestion. We went for Chinese food for lunch and I ate too much. But I've got, this is so far, it's just the scrapbook paper. I haven't even gotten to the, I must have had a duplicate of this because you're getting another sheet of that too. This is just a real heavy cardstock with a little bit of texture to it. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, is Mary on, or is she, were you watching her recording? But I'm trying to mix in, you know, just some fun papers that I've bought in the past at Joann's and Michael's, and scrapbook paper. See, I got that at clearance for 25 cents a sheet. That's why I'm getting a whole sheet of that, because I had several pages of it. And see here, I can make another, I could make another signature. And that way I can just make a real chunky book. And then just stick that all in. And it might be quite a fat book. What would be really nice is if I could find an old book that I could use its cover and just put these in with bands. But if I can't, I don't think I have one. I'm going to just use this file folder. Oh, I missed something. Oh, she got her bunny. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. She was telling Dee Dee earlier, I was watching her morning replay, and she was telling Dee Dee that she hadn't gotten Mr. Bunny yet, but I'm so glad he arrived. Now here's another one of the firm glittery papers, so I could start yet another signature. Here's some velvet paper, green velvet. All right, now the file folders are just the idea I had to make my cover out of the file folders. I might just use one of these for my cover. And I don't care that it's going to be way too wide because I'm thinking a wraparound. And I'll just fold this on its other pieces to make it easier. You know how a folder has different little score marks? If you fold on each of those, it makes it so it'll, you know, roll over the edge. And then you put these in and bind them in with your rubber bands. And you could make this piece. You could do the same thing. Put several of those lines, just like they did in the folder, but do 1/4 inch segments. Let me show you. So if I put this down and I start my 1/4 inch marks like right about here. And I'm just going to pick a spot here and then come over 1/4 from that and 1/4 from that. Actually, I didn't quite do 1/4, but that's okay. Then when you fold on these, just go ahead and fold them all. All right. And then we'll put these in. This will fold up around, see? Nice and smooth like that. Might come back even one more. And if you want to add more, all you do is line your line up here. And we can add a few more. There and there. Just some more score lines. I want it to just roll up over whatever size I have there. Okay. We might have to add some more to the back side because I have quite a bit of paper left back here. But then you can roll this up in. And if it grows, then you have all of this spaces here that have already been scored. So it could go really fat. And see, it raises it up some more. But so far, this is what I've gotten. Now, if we want to, we can score this so it bends around the opposite way, or you could just cut it off. I think I'm going to cut this off and then maybe score it and fold under an edge. All right, so let me make a little mark. My brain is not working all of a sudden. Here we go. I'm going to put just a little mark like right here. And we'll cut it off right there. And there's a wire in this, and I'm just lining that up with the little mark I made. And I'm going to cut that free. And you could include that as just a little card if you wanted to. So from that first score mark that came on the original file, I have left about 3 3/8 inch piece there. And this is 5.5 inches tall. I cut the folder down. And then I've, made all of these additional score lines just so it'll roll up. So if you wanted to, you could just fold that in and then bring this up around. I was thinking I might punch a hole and just put some string through it to wrap around it to hold it closed. But I'll wait until I've gotten all of my signatures put together to do that. But that'll be my flow will be in one of these. So I'm going to keep building it in there. So we'll keep filling these up. It might be such a thing I end up flipping it and putting this in this way and then bring this around. But we'll see. Either way, you could do it. Since I cut so much off there, I'm thinking this side might be the better one to just fold down and bring this around. But it's a work in progress, the cover, put it that way. All right. This is a spare folder that I cut apart to see about a cover. So if I have to, I have some backups if I mess one up too badly. So let's keep folding some stuff together. I've got, like I said, all kinds of stuff. And you can make your cover any way you want. If you want to use an old book, if you want to make your cover just out of scrapbook paper, or just slide your flow bits. Just put the bands on the outside here, which I do need to go and get bands so I can show you guys how to put these together. And I'll do that later. Maybe I'll show you that tomorrow night, and that'll give me a chance to go get bands. But I'll show you some of the things I'm going to put in my flow. So far, it's just scrapbook paper, specialty papers like the glitter paper and the velvet paper and the handmade papers. I've also got, what are these called? Ephemera scrapbook papers that we can cut apart and add in. You can make little pockets and tuck things in your little pockets, like maybe stick a few buttons in a pocket, or you can make a little envelope and tuck it in and attach a fancy paper clip to the top of it. Just wherever your creative mind takes you, just run with it. I'm sure whoever gets what you put together would be ecstatic to receive it. But I do want to keep this swap to USA only because it's kind of a bulky item. And for me personally, it gets rather expensive to ship overseas. We might do USA and Canada because it's all North America. And it's not too much more expensive to go to Canada, but to go overseas, they are charging us crazy money these days. The only exception would be if there are two European countries or, countries close to each other that would like to set up where they could personally swap. I won't be able to mail overseas is what I'm saying. And a lot of the members can't. I think the older we get, the tighter we have to watch our money, when we should be watching it when we're younger so we don't have to worry so much when we're older. But, when you're younger, you don't think about it at all, do you? So I've got Journey and Dawn. Hey, Dawn. And who else? Violet. Hi, Charity. And Cheryl and Holly and Gail. And who else am I missing? Anybody? Did I miss anybody? If I've missed you, I'm sorry. Hey, Janet. Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Yeah, I'm not working right now, so I can't go too crazy, but I have all this stuff in my stash that I'm willing to share. And see, that's like two different shades of the same. And here's a yellow version of that. Oh, and this is just out of packaging. This came on candles at Michael's. The great big pillar candles. If you're ever in Michael's and they're unboxing candles, look for this and ask if you could have some because they're just going to throw it in trash. But it's corrugated and it's already naked on one side. And I could have swore I turned that focus off. I really could have swore I did. Let me check again. It seems to be doing it whether I turn it off or not. The color looks good today on the camera, at least. It's turned itself back on. Okay. Maybe that'll stop that. Sorry, Janet. I could have swore. I think what it was is I had turned it off for Scott and Mai's haul earlier. And then when I had to move the whole setup from the coffee table back to the table. And when I do that, I have to unplug the camera and then restart the computer so it can find the camera. And I forgot to turn it back off. So I'm sorry about that. I wish I'd noticed it sooner. All right, this is the end of the scrapbook paper. And then I'll show you some of the other things that I'm going to stick in. I've got these memorandum sheets I found at the thrift store. I'm going to include a couple of those. I've got these inner office memorandums. I'm going to include 3 of those. I just grabbed some off the pads. They're like, they come in pads of paper sheets. This cardboard, I'm thinking I might just stick it in the center of one of them. It's going to stick up some, but I don't guess anybody'd mind. It's not going to stick up too badly, just a little bit. I could trim it, I guess, but I was going to include the whole piece. All right, these were in my stash, and it's the cards they used to fill out long time ago when you'd go to the doctor. Yes, you can include fabric too. Whatever you have in your stash, include. I've got some upholstery samples that I'm going to put just a couple of them in because they're kind of bulky. But whatever you have in your stash that you would like to swap with people, you can. But these were, like I said, the things I used to fill out when you went to the doctors, and it's got on there, are you on a pension plan? It's got your date of birth, your spouse, and they want you to tell your age, an insurance company, and the year issued, and the kind. Like, these are really old. So I'm going to include those. I've got some of these mini file dividers. I'm going to put 3 of those in. Those will have to be something that just slides in and it'll fall out of the book because I'm not going to fold these. And again, they're probably going to stick out just a little bit. This is just a blank card, and I thought I would just include it. So if you find this in the book, you can just fold it in half, take some of the paper, and you will have made a card already. This, I think, is just cardstock of some sort. On most of the things that I was going to share is I put a Post-it note of what it was, and I might leave that on them. I've got, this is origami paper that I found at the thrift store in different colors. So I'm going to just kind of fold that like that and slide it in. And again, it's going to stick up a little bit, but I don't want to, you know, fold it too much. Just some, what are they, mini legal pads. I've got green and yellow. These are just some bits that were on my table of black cardstock. I'm going to stick them in there. Some trimmings from a Dirty Dozen. I'm going to include those. I've got a packet of these that I thought I would send some of these. What are these called? They're not index cards. Rolodex cards. Hi, Mark, side bottom. These are labels, and look what it says at the top. Insert this end in typewriter. I found these at the thrift store, so I'm going to include 3 of those. And again, I'm going to include the teapot stickers. And again, one is missing, but that's because I got these at the thrift store. But this is almost a full sheet of stickers. You can use your painty papers. Include your painty papers you've made yourself. If you do a Dirty Dozen or a Pick 10 or something, and you just do a background that you wouldn't mind sharing half of it on a piece of paper, and you keep half and you send half, just cut it in half and send that. I'm going to try to make my Dirty Dozen prompt sessions on Wednesday night just backgrounds where they're just color and slight texture so that you all can take it and turn it into whatever you want. I'm folding these since I've got them right here. And we'll finish constructing this tomorrow night. Now I've got some weird things that I'm not sure how I'm going to put them in here. I think I got these at the thrift store, and I think what these pockets are for is if you go to a restaurant, they can put the knife, fork, and spoon in here, but I'm not sure. But I thought if I included these, it would be kind of a challenge for whoever receives my flow book to find a use for these. Now I also have another thing. Let me find it here that I'll include a couple of. Here they are. And I picked these up. I don't know how these are going to fit in my flow book, but what these are is a giant pocket envelope. So you fold it here. Okay. Oh, I folded it the wrong way. The pocket's supposed to be on the inside. There we go. All right. So there's your pocket. There's a pocket here, and then this flap folds down, and then it folds closed. And you would put a seal on it. So I'll include 2 of these, and these might just get tucked into the book and pull out. It'll make it a little bit taller than the book, but I don't think anybody would mind. And if I include 2, somebody can get real creative. You know, they're really big enough. You could turn it into a small journal with a pocket in the back. You know, maybe do another score line here and give it some dimension. But I'm going to let whoever gets these are the challenge pieces that will be included in the flow journal that I send out. How about that? I'm going to cut this in half, but just graph paper that you might have. This is a vintage tracing paper. It's very old. And what I will do is I'm going to cut this down to the 5.5 by 8 1/4 so that it'll fit into the book. And on one of the pieces, I will include this postie so that you guys will know whoever gets it will know what that is. You can use, this is things I have found thrifting that are in my stash. I'm going to include a couple of sheets of business cards. Now, if you have business cards and you want to decorate them before you put them in your book, feel free. But I thought how fun it would be to send some blank ones for them to have materials that they might not have on hand to use. And I will cut these in half. Hopefully I can get it in half on a card and not cut one in half. I'll have to look at it. I think I'm going to have to cut it at 3 because I don't want y'all to lose a card. So I've got those. I've got some regular vellum. These are huge sheets of the ledger paper, and I'm going to cut it this way and this way. So they'll be cut down for use. I'm just showing what you can use. Now these I will cut along where they divide. They are 3 1/3 by 4 inch square labels. And these could be fun too. Or I can just fold them. I might just fold them like this. Can't fold them in thirds. But if I fold them like that and then in half, see if that'll work. I'm trying to think of how I can send it to you in one piece so you pull it out and you can decorate it yourself. That would work. And then you just pull it out and open it up. What I might do for ease of shipping, I don't know if I can get it off. I don't know. We'll just leave it together. I was thinking if I took the the paper off the top of it, it might ship better and go in the book better, but we're going to go with it. So that's what that is. These are round labels. There's a round there. So if I fold it in half, the problem's going to be is the one in the middle is going to get bent. Because see, if when I fold it in the middle, that might travel okay. That one tells you what it is on it. I'll put this on this side though. This paper was in my stash, and it's graph on this side and lines on the back. It'll be luck of the draw. I'm going to put the names in the hat and hat or bowl or box or bag or something, and I'll pull partners out. And that's the way it'll go. And then this is just some newsprint because I have a bunch of it. This is aged parchment that I got at the thrift store. This is just regular labels, address labels. These two sheets here are photo paper of some sort. They are non-glossy though, so I don't know if these would work with your alcohol inks or not, but I'm going to include those. And then this is acrylic paper, which you can use acrylic paint on, and it's textured like canvas. And I'm going to cut it in half and then fold it in half. And that's what I'm going to stick in these books. I think that'll give a lot of choice in there. So you guys go and dig in your stash. Book pages would work too. You're right, Holly, and I could add some book pages. So y'all are giving more ideas. Give all your ideas. Wallpaper. You could put wallpaper pieces in. Doilies. Envelopes. Little bags. Well, Janet, somebody will have to send you some of their stash. What do you have in your stash that you could use? I'm sure you've got stuff in your stash that somebody else would just love to have. I'm going to pull a sheet out of each of these. Painty papers, yes. Some dictionary paper. This is the Treasury of Modern Mysteries. This is a children's, the Pueblo Indians. There's some Chopin. This I'll have to cut down so it'll fit in the book. If you want to just take paper or magazine pages and paint them, that would work. Nope, this is not really a journal. It's a flow journal, and we're going to put it together. I'm going to put it together. But today I'm just showing what kinds of things you can add to it. And don't forget things like maybe you've got some stickers that you don't think you'll ever use. Somebody else might be just dying to have those stickers. I have some stickers that I'm going to add. I've got those teapots I found at the thrift store the other day, but I have some others that I will include too. Now, if these are too big, I might trim off the white part of the page. This piece I might just, tuck in with the journal so that it doesn't stick up above. And the same with these file folder pieces, or just not try to include them in the bands when I put the bands in. And we're going to put the bands, I'll put it together tomorrow night. Okay. Today, I just wanted to show you what you could use in it so that you can gather your stuff together. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on the group site for sign up. So if you're interested, you have to be a member of my Facebook group and you have to sign up by May 1st. And May 2nd, I will assign your partner. And try not, this is going to be huge, but just use what you have. And don't feel like, you don't have enough to participate or whatever. You can pull out a page from a children's coloring book, an adult coloring book, anything like that. Oh, some homemade washi tape. That would be fabulous. That would be fabulous to get in a book. That's something I have not done. Well, with us starting the collection of putting things together in the next couple days, I was hoping between now and May 1st, the sign-up deadline, you'd go ahead and have yours made up. So as soon as I assign partners on May 2nd, you could get it in the mail. But I might go 2 weeks into May. So like May 14th would be the absolute mailing deadline. Would that work for you guys? Holly, I'm going to put it up on the group site. Will, we're putting together some flow journals to swap in the USA and Canada. Now, I will tell you, if there's somebody else like in UK or India or someplace else, if you can find somebody nearer to you that would swap with you, that would be better for all of us postage-wise. I personally cannot ship overseas except for cards. I can do cards and artist trading cards, but anything big like this, I just can't do anymore. The postage is just gone just too crazy. Okay, Janet. So mailing deadline will actually be May 14th. You will get your partner on May 2nd. Sign up deadline is May 1st. I better write this down or I will forget in a skinny minute. Let's see here. So sign up. They're sawing something next door, guys. They are completely building this man's house from the inside out. I tell you what, they've just been over there for months now. Sign up deadline, May 1st. And that's when I go to meet Heather from the Craft Shack in Greer, South Carolina. Sign up deadline, May 1st. Partners will be assigned May 2nd. An absolute deadline for mailing is May 14th. Absolute last day to mail is May 14th. Okay. You can also, if you're good at making embellishments, you could include some embellishments. You could do decorative paper clips. You just want to make random things. They don't have to go together. They just have to be some random things you have in your stash. In fact, see, I could include one of these birds that I did the other day. I might stick that green bird in there and maybe one of the blue ones. And just let them figure out what to do to fix them and send them on a card or something. So just have fun with it. If you want to not decorate paper clips, but you need to use a paper clip to like hold the bird in place, you can just stick a plain paper clip on it, and they might take the plain paper clip and decorate it. You can include die cuts. You can include punched out things from your scraps. Things like that. Just make your book fun. Remember, the size is 5.5 by 4 1/4, but it can be as thick as you want to make it. So I've got the start going here, and I don't want to stay on much longer because I want to prep for, I got to clear all of this off so I can play with Lisa and Beth in a little bit. The size is the 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches tall, and your finished folded piece is going to be 4 1/4. So the size of an A2 card is the size of your folded papers. Let me tell you how many signatures I have so far, and I will probably stick to just what I have here. I have 5 signatures. So I think 5 signatures is plenty, and that's still going to be thick by the time I fold all of this and fit it into these signatures and get it in there. It's going to be chunky. And then figure out some way to close your book. I'm thinking about just punching a hole and adding an eyelet, and then just put some string of some sort. In fact, if you wanted to make a little bit larger hole and just use some of those hole protectors, or punch out 2 circles, one inside the other, and glue one on each side to give your folder a little bit more stability is what I'm thinking. Or if you just want to, you can add fiber that way, different fibers. Hello, Deborah McMaster from Yorkshire. And if you do the fibers, that could be really pretty. If you put like 3 or 4 fibers through the hole and then wrap it around, then they could use the fibers even. But what the whole idea for me was, I want to make sure it'll go. I want to try to stay within this thickness of a small priority flat rate box. So that thick. And I think I'll be okay, because if I stick this in right now, I still have plenty of room. So all of this stuff will fit in there. I'm going to continue folding this stuff. I'll make a run to the Dollar Tree and get some bands of some sort. You want bands big enough that they'll stretch over everything you have in your book, plus around the outside binding of your file folder. Okay? So I'm going to go see what I can find. And I'm just going to go to the Dollar Tree. If you can't find hair bands, just get rubber bands. Remember, this is just a temporary fix for them. Whoever gets it's going to use this stuff. What's holding everything together can be just the rubber bands, so that it won't matter if they pop over time or something, because this is meant to be used by the recipient. Okay? So all of your stuff on the inside needs to be cut at the 5.5 by 8.5. So when it's folded, it's 5.5 by 4 1/4. Yes, Charity, that would be fine. You can tie it with twine. You can close it with Velcro if you've got some little Velcro dots that would hold it closed. You could sew regular sewed-on snaps to it if you wanted. You know, just take something to perforate holes in here and then just sew it on. And if you sewed through the snap, through this, and then through a piece of fabric, that would hold this on. But I've got all kinds of paper that's going to go in here, and whoever gets it can make whatever they want. If you want to do some sort of label or something on the inside that says your name, your city and state, and maybe the date, that way they would have who they got it from inside forever. So they would remember who they got it from. That might be a good idea. Okay, I hope this has given you guys some ideas on how to create a really fun flow journal. And I like the idea of making it a mini flow journal. This thing is meant to be used and taken apart. So don't worry about it being permanently done. Okay. So Judy, you'll have to go back and see, but I've got all kinds of stuff in here, and I'm going to add more. And I decided to use a bunch of the specialty papers I've had in my stash forever. I'm sharing them in my little mini flow journal. And tomorrow night, before we do our Dirty Dozen, which, oh, you guys, I forgot, almost forgot. I've made us a Dirty Dozen deck. Look. It's Howie, Tippy, and Callie. It's got the prompts that we've been using on a regular basis. So now we don't have to worry about anything. I'll just shuffle these, and these will be the prompts we do. I stuck with prompts, like I said, that will stay relatively flat, like we got add a book page, add masking tape, and then you'll remove it at the end. So wherever you stick masking tape down, you'll have to pull it up, and everything you did on top of it will get removed, and you'll have where the masking tape was left behind. But then you can use the masking tape on another project. Gesso out an area. Use metallic paint. Write a positive word or phrase. Use black. Use red. Add dots and dashes. Add tissue paper. Add an image of a living thing. Add circles. Stamp with a household item. Splatters, all kinds of stuff. So we'll have fun tomorrow night. The Kitty Trio cards. We might have to change it to the Kitty Trio instead of Dirty Dozen. Kitty Trio session. That's what we'll do tomorrow night. So at the very beginning, I'll put my book together. I'm going to work on pulling some things else together. Oh, if you have small plastic bags that you could put little things in and clip them in with, you know, your paper clip. I have some mini clothespins. I could use those. I could paint the clothespins. I could leave them plain. But what I'm thinking is I got these the other day for 19 cents at Hobby Lobby in the party section. And I could just grab a little pinch of those and stick them in a little bag and include them in the book. So really think about what you have in your stash that you'd be willing to share with somebody. Oh, Joyce, I was just fixing to sign off. So you'll have to go back and watch from the beginning. And we'll put this together tomorrow night. So mine will be almost together except for some added in bits. And I'll try to pull some things together. Like I've got some flat-backed little plastic pearl-like things. I might include some of those. I don't want to make it too fat because I got to get it in that small flat rate box. I don't want to go bigger than this. If it gets bigger than this, you've gone too far. How does that sound? Because when this is folded, that's pretty good size. All right. Okay, you guys, I'll see you later on Lisa at Lisa My Eclectic Lives. She's doing another Journaling by 5 with Beth, okay? And I'll see you guys over there. And thanks for stopping by and watching. And I will see you guys later. Make sure you watch mine and Scott's haul from earlier. We got some really fun finds there. Bye, guys.